Okay. Okay, you guys, welcome to our Team Hustle and Heart Monday Night Zoom. We have a very, very special Zoom plan for you tonight. I am so excited to have one of my nearest and dearest friends in the business joining us tonight, as well as her team and some other sideline teams that I invited to join us tonight. I feel super passionately about this topic, and this is a mindset Zoom. So this is not one of those Zooms where we're going to specifically be going over like necessarily like tasks or like the physical actions of how to build the business. We're going to talk about everything that goes on between your ears, which if you guys have been in the business for any amount of time, you understand how freaking important it is to have your mindset in the right place, to have your energy in the right place, to have your belief in the right place. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hope Weston. I'm a triple diamond. I've been a part of this business for just over 6 years. I started as a college student. I was working 2 jobs and I was in school, and I just knew that I wanted more. We were getting married in about 6 months, me and my fiance, now husband. And I just knew that I didn't want to fight about money. I didn't want to feel stressed out. I watched my parents, struggle with money. And so I just knew that I didn't want that for us. And so basically I started this business on a credit card. I did not have the money to join, but I mean, it was a risk. It was a giant risk for me. And I just jumped in full force. So obviously I could sit here for literally 2 hours and tell you about every different season of my business. But what we're talking about tonight is really when you go through the valley, when you go through the low season, when you don't have the team that you want, and you don't have the volume that you want, and you don't have the enrollments that you want, and how you are overcoming that to come out better and stronger on the other side. So I'm going to talk a little bit. We can name this the Burn the Ships Zoom. And so I want to give you guys just like a little bit of background. So how many of you have heard, drop a 1 or drop your favorite emoji in the chat if you've heard the phrase like burn the ships? Like, you got to burn the ships, man. So it's actually a reference to in 1519, there was a Spanish commander who burnt all of his ships so that him and his men would have to conquer or die. Those were the 2 options. They could no longer get back on their boat and sail back to Spain if things went bad. They either had to be successful or they were going to die trying. Now, obviously, what we can take from this story is giving up is easy when you have the option. And I'm not just talking about quitting the business completely, because I think that if you've quit the business completely, you're probably not on the Zoom, and or if you're thinking about quitting this business, you're probably not on the Zoom or watching the recording. So for me, the take that I really am getting from this is that I'm talking about giving up on certain aspects of your business. I'm talking about giving up on host to post, or giving up on TikTok, or giving up on personal development. How often are you giving up on certain areas of your business because of discouragement, or because you feel like someone else is doing it better, or because you feel like it's not happening as fast as you would want it? And what we're really doing is we're just giving ourselves an out. Well, if host to post doesn't work for me, then I just won't do it. Well, I only have 200 followers on TikTok, so what's the point of posting? And I think that a lot of us, here's the questions I want you to ask yourself as we work through this Zoom. How often are you giving up in certain areas of your business? How often are you counting yourself out? How easily are you allowing yourself to be derailed by one moment, or one message, or one negative comment, or one unsupportive person in your life? How do we come up with ways to always leave a safety net? Well, if it doesn't work for me in the next 6 months, I'm going to quit. Well, if I don't get up 30 host to post in the next 2 days, I'm not doing host to post anymore. And what if you took those safety nets away? What if you stopped saying things like, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just XYZ. Well, that doesn't seem to be working for me the way it works for other people, so I'm just not going to do it. What would your life and what would your business look like if you took away those quote unquote safety nets that you're making for yourself in your own mind? Really what we need to do is have an awakening of awareness of how we are getting in our own way by giving ourselves these outs and allowing our excuses to overpower us. Now, I'm not talking about legit safety nets like, I don't know, a savings account or an emergency contact. I'm talking about patterns and things that distract us or pull us away or pull up or drag us down, drag us into negativity, drag us into bad habits that are genuinely stopping us from being in our highest potential. Now, the way that I'm saying this, I'm sure it's coming off like I'm saying like every season is easy. I'm not saying that. There are some seasons where you are going to be pulled down. You are going to be distracted. And so that's basically what I'm going to have Murphy talk about tonight. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about my own like journey kind of through the valley these last 6 months. But I want you guys to really think about what would it look like to burn your own ship? And if you did, how would your life or business be different? If you just stopped giving yourself that out, stop giving yourself that fallback, and you really just went all in on what you want your business to look like and the person that you want to be and the habits that you want to have. Yeah, I can, Jordan. I can also type them up and send them in the chat after. So what would it look like to burn your own ship? If you did, how would your life and business be different? And then the last thing I want to say before I have Murphy come on, and I know she's just going to pull at our heartstrings, I love her so much, is just, it starts with me. It starts with Murphy as your leaders, but considering that each and every one of you getting to where you want to go in your business means that you're stepping into leadership too. I want you to understand that it starts with you. It said that a Spanish commander burnt all of his ships. So it was him and his men. So how does you putting aside your excuses, putting aside your doubts, putting aside your limitations, putting aside your safety nets, how does that allow for your team to come behind you and do the same thing because they see your level of purpose and your level of belief in what you're doing? So Murphy, I think you can unmute yourself because I made you co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourself, just like a quick one, and then jump right in. I know you've been thinking about this. I know you've got some stuff to share with us.
Thank you, Hope, for having me on. I am so excited about this. When Hope reached out to me about this Zoom, about mindset and burning the ships, I'm like, let's freaking do it, because I have felt this on my heart for about 4 to 5 months now. And I, along with Hope, have done so much growth, went through a bunch of funks these last 4 to 5 months, and I have learned so much that I am just so excited that I get to share with y'all tonight. My name is Murphy. If you don't know who I am a triple diamond. I've been in the business for a little bit over 3 years. My 3 years was in July. And it's so funny because when I think about why I even joined this business in the beginning, is that honestly, I didn't have a great why or reason as to why I joined this business besides just some extra fun money. I had just turned 20 years old. I was in college. I had another job, but I was using student loans to mostly pay for everything. So I didn't really need quote unquote money in that exact moment, besides just for, extra gas, get my nails done, groceries, food, going out, that kind of stuff here and there. But it really intrigued me that my enroller was able to pay for all of her bills in this business, and that she had joined at the same age as me, at age 19, 20. And so that's honestly kind of what intrigued me and got me started in the business. And within just 3 months, I had promoted to Ruby, and they had a $1,000 bonus then. And that was more money than I had ever seen in my whole entire life. And in that moment, I kind of really caught the vision. I was like, well, if I can do this in 3 months, I can't imagine what I can do in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that's when I knew this business was legit. In 6 months, I was able to go diamond, quit all my other jobs. And I have been doing this full time ever since. This business bought us our first house at 21. It paid cash for mine and my now husband's wedding. I just got my real estate license, and that's something that I have wanted to do for so long. But just like any other business, it's about $3,000 to get your real estate license, and I never would have been able to afford to do that if it wasn't for this business. So it's just blessed us in so many ways. And that's the amazing thing about sticking out with this business and to keep on going when the times get tough, because there's going to be so many blessings along the way. Hope, am I good to just go into all my stuff? Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat if you relate to any of these things that I am about to say. If you feel like you're a perfectionist, you have high standards for yourself, you're an all or nothing person, like I either want to do this well or I'm not going to do it at all. You've wanted to do this thing in your life, you've wanted to do this business really well, but you don't know if you're going to be good enough at it. You don't know if it's going to go right. You don't know if you're going to fail or mess up. So you've held yourself back because you have this like all or nothing mindset. If I could put a 2 in the chat 20 billion times, that's exactly how I have felt for the last about 4 to 5 months in my business. Because like I had said, I'm a triple diamond, but that's not the rank that I'm at right now. That's not the rank that I have been at all year. I had even lost double diamond too at a point this year. And that is when I had really gotten into this mindset of, well, if I can't be like the best of the best, and if I can't be, you know, in E-suite, my triple diamond rank, then what even am I? You know, it made me almost not, I was still doing the business, you know, but I wasn't giving it my 110% because I felt like I wasn't good at it anymore. I didn't know where my vision was at. I didn't know if I could do this right again, you know, and we get into all these second guesses, and maybe you're in this second guessing of, you don't know if you can ever even go diamond. Like that just seems like way out of the ballpark for you. And you're like, well, if I can't get this right, nail this down perfect, all or nothing, like I feel like I can never go diamond, so I might as well not even try. And that's just kind of the mindset that I was in for honestly about 4 months or so. And tonight we are just going to debunk this and why this all or nothing and perfectionist mindset is just such a lie. We can have high standards for ourselves, and we should, but there's a much bigger, deeper root to why we are feeling that way than just saying, oh, we want to be perfect and amazing at this business, okay? Because here's the thing is, true perfectionists will take action and do something and then critique themselves after to get better. Fake perfectionists in this all or nothing mindset don't take action. They keep their foot on the brake. They make excuses and they blame it on we're waiting till we're an expert. We're waiting till it's the perfect time. We're waiting until it feels right. We're waiting until we take these courses, take these trainings, and feel like we're in a good mindset before we actually go after and get the things done. And I'm guessing most of us on this Zoom have felt the latter before, in this fake perfectionist mindset. And I know that's how I felt for so long. We're working here and there. We're cheering on our friends. We're cheering our teammates. Sometimes we're posting and messaging and host to post and whatever else, but we aren't fully showing up. We aren't giving our absolute best. We aren't available for the process of growth, and we're unwilling to change what we've been doing for so long in order to get better and to grow. So we're going to break this down into a few, I guess, lies or myths you could say, and we're going to debunk them and just go over these excuses and how we can change them. So the first thing that I was talking about is us being unwilling to make a change, and this can be to prioritize in your business. This can be in your life too. So examples could be, I can't get on a work Zoom tonight because I have kids, or I can't get on the work Zoom tonight because I need to clean my house, or different things like that. But the truth is any excuses like that, we're unwilling to utilize any other methods than what we have currently been doing. So we're automatically saying this isn't going to work out for me. So an example would be, maybe we always used nap time to clean our house, okay? Before you join this business, when the kids go down to nap, that's what the time you use to clean your house. Well, now maybe that's the best time to work your business, but you've been unwilling for so long to make a change in order to incorporate that. But because you can make this income in the time that your kids would be asleep, you can then in turn pay for a cleaner down the road, or you can clean at night, or you can ask your spouse or your parents or whatever to help you out. It's just a lot of the time we are unwilling to make a change that's going to make it better for us. We automatically say that it just isn't going to work, and this justification feels good because these things are probably true. You probably do have kids, right? You probably do have a spouse or a significant other. You probably do have a house that needs to be cleaned. Maybe you have another 9-to-5 job, and these are all valid reasons and justifications of why we sometimes put things on the back burner. But the truth is that you can be a good steward as a wife and as a mother and in another job and in your business. And I think that's a lie that the devil constantly tries to tell us, is that we aren't able to be a good steward in both. And here's the thing, is that there is no exact framework for this either. You know, what can look good for one person might look totally different for another person, and that's okay. We just can't allow our limited mindset and other opinions to get in the way of that. We have to be willing to ask for help, be involved, and pursue other methods to make this business a priority. And our second excuse is, sometimes we like to use an excuse about not having peace about something is the reason why we're not doing it. Like, we just feel so spread thin. Adding this business onto our plate is just going to make our mind explode. We have so much other things going on, when truthfully, we just don't like it, or we just don't want to do it. And so we're saying that we don't have peace about it, and this isn't a good time, and this isn't a good season, just because we don't want to make a change. And we don't like how it feels at the moment. Because peace truly means that God works out all things for good. That's what peace truly is. And so if you know that, and you believe that all things are going to work out for good, then you can be a good steward in your family and in your business and in all the areas of your life that are so important. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that lies that we believe is that once we take enough courses, once we take enough training, once we do enough mentorship, once we work hard enough, that we are somehow going to arrive at this magical moment of being ready. And that's honestly why we make all of these excuses that I just said. But the truth is that magical moment is never coming. You're getting farther and farther and farther away from your goal every single day that you are just waiting for this magical moment. God doesn't promise us tomorrow. He doesn't promise us next month. He doesn't promise us next year. He doesn't promise us 20 years. He promises us today. And he promises us this moment. And it is our job each day to steward what he has called us to in this moment. Now, what if you're like, Murphy, I don't know what the heck I'm called to in this moment? And if you feel like that, you're like, I don't know what I'm called to. Drop a 3 if you're like, I don't know what my calling is. I just feel like my mind is running here, there every single day. I don't know if this business is my calling, this and that. Because I have felt like that. I'm going to drop a 3. For like the last 4 months, I've been feeling like that. I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. And so forth. Because we already feel so spread thin, right? Well, here's the thing, guys, is we are not above the process. And that's what we have to remember. Every single person that you see in a season of success and in a season of harvest went through the process. They went through the same exact process that you're feeling right now, and they messed up all the way there. I can tell you I messed up all the way to Triple Diamond, that's for sure. And even afterwards, I messed up again. And you know what? I'm probably going to keep messing up, but I'm going to trust the process. And that's the thing is, the reason why I ever went Triple Diamond in the first place is I just did it before I was ready. I didn't get to skip the process. I didn't feel peace about Triple Diamond before I went Triple Diamond. I just had to trust the process and keep going. And I have to remind myself of that every day when I see someone living their dream life, or when I see someone that has something that I want that I don't have yet, and I feel like I'm never going to have that and I'm not there yet, is I have to live out the process. I have to live out the process. And I think about that even with my mentor and enroller is Courtney Vogel. And she's had obviously crazy success in this business, and she has a dream house that I would love to have someday. I look at her house every single day and I'm like, wow, I want that. But you know what? Courtney went through 7+ years of a process of this business and working so dang hard to get that house that she has now. She trusted the process and she went for it before she ever even knew that that was ever going to happen. And the truth is, guys, that we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Our whole entire life is a process, not just this business. And we don't get to be at the mountaintop without climbing the mountain. We have to climb the mountain before we can get to the mountaintop. We may not go ambassador this year. We may not even go ambassador next year, but you're never going to get there if you don't make yourselves available to the process. And I feel like I could say this again and again, but it's just so true. And the funk that you're feeling in right now, if you're feeling in a funk, and the funk that I felt for about 4 months, the reason I was feeling that is because I wasn't taking action. The only way to cure your feeling of funk is to just get out there and go do it. I was sitting in my bed every single day, pouting and crying to myself, but was that ever making me feel any better? Was that ever getting me anywhere? And it wasn't. The only thing that cured my funk was to get out there and to take action and to trust the process. That's the only thing that's going to get you out of it. And the process is part of the becoming. In order to become what you want to be, you have to trust the process. So let's get out there this month. Let's get out there the rest of the year. Let's take the action. Let's be the doers. Let's go do the things, because you won't figure it out until after you take the action. That is where clarity is found, my friends.
Oh my gosh, Murphy, that was so stinking good. So a couple of things, you guys. So you were talking about having peace and knowing that all things work for good. Now, obviously, those of you who are Christians, you've probably heard that before. Even if you're not a Christian, you've probably heard that before. No matter what your belief is, I think that the note that I really want to touch on with that is believing that your business is going to work out for you. Believing that the enrollments are going to come in, the distributors are going to come onto your team and work and be exactly who you want them to be, that you're going to create friendships, that you're going to have fun, that you're going to have freedom. If you have limiting beliefs that are stopping you from believing that all things are working out for good, whether that be God, angels, universe, whatever label energy, whatever you want to put on it, then that is a limiting belief that you really need to tackle. And we are going to do an exercise at the end of this to kind of help you guys recognize where those limiting beliefs come from. And I'm really excited to do that. But I just wanted to touch on that really quickly, because I think that's a big issue with a lot of people who feel like they don't have peace or they don't feel good about doing certain things in their business. It's because they genuinely have this voice in the back of their head saying, well, what if you do all of this and it doesn't work out? And I think that that's the lie that we're fed by society, that some people get lucky and some people don't, and that some people are successful and some people aren't. And the truth of the truth is that every single person who has ever shown up, used the systems, been consistent, and had the right attitude and had the right belief and just kept going for 90 days, for 180 days, for 270 days, they have gotten right, you guys? Drop a 4. You know that that's the truth. You know that every single person who you see that's successful in this business has done just that. And you're counting yourself out because of your own limiting beliefs about who you are and where you come from, and why it would work for Murphy, and why it would work for me, and why it would work for Courtney Vogel, and why it would work for Jade Hooper, and why it wouldn't work for you. And that's exactly why we leave these safety nets. That's exactly why we use these excuses, because in the back of our head, we're still doing, well, if it doesn't work out, it's just because of XYZ. And that's what we're talking about with burning the ships, where you are literally not allowing yourself another option other than success. That's what we're talking about tonight. You are literally taking everything else off the table other than you being successful in this business. So that was the first thing. The second thing that another thing that you said was like about not feeling ready, right? People who want to like, I need all the boards and all the Zooms and all the trainings and all the courses and all the help. And then I'll start. And then I'll start. And the truth of the truth is that every single person who is giving you scripts, who is hosting Zooms, who is showing up in the team page, we just had to figure it out. I have sent terrible messages. I have copied and pasted messages that just said, hey, Ashley, to like 50 different people whose names were not Ashley. I have followed up with people who like legitimately told me they weren't interested and they got so mad because I followed up again. I have like said things in live videos that I like shouldn't have said, like, but it didn't stop me from going triple diamond. So why are you doing this thing in your head where you're like, well, if I mess up, it's ruined? It's like, no, dude, I literally had to do those things to get better, it's like exactly what you said. Like the process is part of the becoming. I never would have become triple diamond if I hadn't like kind of effed it up like many, many times and just learned how to be better. So first of all, you guys are very lucky because we have Jaden, we have Courtney, and you have me, and you have Murphy, or whoever your diamond and above upline is. And we've been there and we've done that. And I know that Murphy will agree with me when we say that literally you have never had more in this business than you do right now. We have the VIP lounge, we have boards, we have Zooms, we have the Limitless Tribe page. I know Courtney has a team page. I know my team has a team page. Like you guys, we didn't have boards. We didn't have a team page. Like I got added to a group chat where the highest paid person was a Ruby. And I was sending out, hey, have you tried that crazy rap thing? Like, and it didn't stop me from going triple diamond. So stop doing this thing where you feel like you have to wait until you're ready. You're here, you're on this Zoom, you're listening to this recording, you're ready. Drop a 5 if you're ready. Like, you know, deep down underneath all of those limiting beliefs and all of those doubts and all of those fears and all of the things that are going on in your life, you know that you are ready to go all in on your business. And that's why you are on this Zoom. That's why you care enough to keep showing up to these things. And then the last thing that I just wanted to touch on before I go into my part is like, we're not above the process and trusting the process. But I love that you said that like every single person who's ever been on a mountaintop has had to go through the valley and climb up the mountain. Like, ain't nobody getting helicopter lifted to the top of the valley, y'all. Ain't nobody getting helicopter lifted to the top of the mountain. You have to be willing to climb the mountain, and everyone's mountain is going to look different. You're going to have different obstacles. You're going to have different limiting beliefs. You're going to have different environments, right? You're going to have different, maybe you come in with a big network. Maybe you come in with a really teeny tiny network. Obviously, there's going to be different mountains for different people, but either way, it's a climb. Either way, it's a climb. But if you don't work for it, it doesn't mean as much. And we are brought up in this like microwave society where we just want to be able to put our business in for 30 seconds and watch it pop out and be everything we ever hoped and dreamed. But how many of you would rather have like a microwave hungry man than like a sirloin steak? Like, you're wanting a sirloin steak, but you're wanting to put in the effort of a hungry man in the microwave. You guys get what I'm saying? If you want what you want truly, and this is part of the exercise that we're going to do, you have to understand that a sirloin steak has to be cooked. It has to be marinated. It has to be cooked on a grill. It's going to take time. You got to cook it to the right temperature. You can't just nuke it. Like, you can nuke it, but like, you're not going to get the food that you want, the food that you're craving, the food that you're desiring. And then you're going to look at an upline and say, God, she's eating a whole ass steak and I've got a hungry man meal. And it's like, yeah, well, she grilled hers outside and she marinated it for 4 hours beforehand. So this is like a funny analogy, but you guys get what I'm saying. So I love everything that you just said, Murphy. So I want to talk a little bit, and I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable here, you guys, just with my own journey that I've been on. And it's actually been a journey of now just over a year. And that's one of the reasons that I felt so passionately about doing this Zoom, is because this exercise that I'm going to lead you guys through, I actually just did for the first time at the recommendation of Miss Jade Hooper. And it just really shifted a lot of things for me and made me realize that there was a lot of things that happened last year and over the last year that were still just kind of sitting on my heart. And I was trying to just push through and climb up the mountain, but I was trying to climb up a mountain with like a 2-ton backpack on my back because I was carrying all of this sort of like hurt and shame and guilt and like weird, funky thoughts. And so tonight, when we're talking about burning the ships, I'm talking about you guys literally letting go of all of this stuff. Leave it behind. Leave it behind. You don't need it where you're going. It's only going to slow you down. Okay, so right around this time last year was the first time in my adult life that I have slipped into a depressive episode. So at the time, I didn't know it was a depressive episode. I just knew that I was exhausted, irritable, not in a good headspace. And it got to the point where, I mean, my husband, right, our significant others, people we live with, always get the worst of it. But it literally got so bad to the point where my husband was like, you're literally yelling at me every single day. Like, you need to like, I don't know what's going on with you, but you're not okay. And so I ended up having to go through a really long, like 3-month process of calling and advocating for myself and trying to find a therapist and trying to find a psychiatrist and working with my insurance and all these things. But finally, at the end of February, I was diagnosed bipolar. And obviously, diagnosis or no diagnosis, we have to handle our mental health issues in its own way. But it just kind of hit me in the gut. I mean, we all think what we think about mental health, and drop a 6 if you struggle with mental health, by the way, so I know who I'm talking to. But I always just thought I had anxiety. But it turns out that manic episodes and anxiety attacks are like the same thing, like in your body. And so what I was actually having were like overly manic episodes. So I got put on medication and started going to therapy. And that was a season where the last thing that I wanted to do was message people on Facebook about putting up posts for me. Like, I wanted to kiss my baby. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to like fix things with my husband because I had been like such a busy to him for the last few months. And then, yeah, I mean, you add in all the stress and all the things that 2020 and 2021 have had to offer us. And I just found myself in like a really heavy place. And then summer came. And so we were I was on meds and I was feeling a little bit better. And so we were taking vacations and doing all of these things as summer does. We get busy in summer, right? My son's second birthday, all of these things. And I actually ended up, because of all of that, just like Murphy, I haven't been triple all year, ended up losing double. And so, having to do what you have to do. Like I said, this isn't about like removing all your safety nets. Obviously, like you have to feed your family. So I actually ended up going back to work. I didn't want to go back to work, but it was almost like I had backed myself into a corner where I wasn't doing what I needed to do in my business to get the results that I wanted. But then I was blaming my business for the reason that I had to go back to work. And instead of just owning it, like, wow, I really started working in July. And since July, my enrollments have not been great and my focus has not been great and all of these things. And so once again, we're allowing that why to become our excuse. And so on top of that, because I was now working outside of the home, I went back to working in restaurants. I went back to serving tables. I would be so physically tired from being back at work that then instead of coming home and just like doing a power, I was literally numbing myself with alcohol, I'm from Cali, so with marijuana, just sitting in front of the couch, vegging out, binging stuff on Netflix, playing stupid phone games. And all the while in the back of my head, that little voice was like, dude, you're on your phone. Like, why aren't you just doing what you need to do? How many of you felt like that? Like, drop a me, drop an emoji. Like, you're on your phone. You're scrolling. You're online shopping. You're playing a game. That you're not doing what you need to be doing, but it's like you almost can't even help it because you're literally just like numbing yourself to like all of the things. And so I just wanted to let you guys know how I'm holding myself accountable, like, especially after this Zoom, we're talking about burning the ships. We're talking about being all in. I am deleting all of the games off my phone, or I already deleted all the games off my phone. I am deleting Netflix off of my iPad. I'm keeping Netflix for the baby on my TV, but it's not going to be on my iPad. I can't bring it upstairs with me. I have to just, if I'm on my phone, I have to be on it for my business. And if I'm not on my phone, then I just need to be with my family. And I think that that is just one thing that you guys can consider when you're talking about this idea of like burning the ships, is that if you recognize that you have negative patterns, if you are, abusing substances or are, abusing Netflix, or, you can abuse anything. You can use anything as a method to escape like what, like you feel like you need to do that day. Take it away. Do a 30-day, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not watching the Netflix. I'm not playing the games. I'm not going to go out with friends every night of the week because I feel bad. They make me feel bad if I don't go out with them. Like, whatever that crutch is for you, that pattern, that habit, that every time you do it, in the back of your head, a little voice says, girl, you could be working your business right now. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, because we all do this where it's like, but we just stop ourselves. And it's because of it's the unwillingness to change, not having peace, not feeling ready, not feeling like we are capable of handling this plate of things that like we've been handed in this season. And so what I do want to say is that a lot of self-compassion and surrounding myself with the right people, as well as in my specific circumstance, medication and therapy, has made a really big difference for me. So don't forget that there are other things that you're going to have to do, not just business wise. Obviously, we're just business mentors. I'm not a mental health professional, but just keep in mind that it's going to take a lot of self-compassion to get yourself out of this negative cycle, because judgment and this perfectionist thing that we do is only going to sink you deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole. It is only when you decide, oh, I'm going to get emotional. It's only when you decide to love yourself enough to stop hurting yourself and stop hurting your future and stop disappointing yourself, that you're actually going to do it, and you're actually going to break the cycle. Like sometimes we think we can like tough love ourselves into doing it. And the truth of the matter is that like, you're going to have to do some like inner child, like healing and like forgiving yourself and telling yourself that you're going to show up for yourself and that you love yourself and that you're worth it and that you're more than enough. And that's what's going to end up breaking that cycle for you. And that's what ended up breaking that cycle for me. So we're going to do a little exercise, unless Murphy has anything else that she wants to share from anything that I said.
Just 110% relate to every single thing that you just said, because that was me like all summer long, even through last month too. For those of you that aren't on my team, you probably don't know, but I had a miscarriage in June. And that's kind of what started this whole depressive episode for me. And so, and like Hope had said, it affected my business, but not only did it affect my business, it affected me as a whole person. It affected my personality, my marriage, my friendships, my motivation, every single part of my life. And for so long, I related to Hope, where I just like, I would rather watch Netflix, or I would rather stay in my bed and do absolutely nothing than just send out a few messages for my business. And really, how hard is that? And all the things that I was talking about earlier is I was just in this perfectionist mindset that if I couldn't do it amazing, and if I couldn't show up like a triple diamond, and if I couldn't be the absolute best version of myself that I could ever possibly be, then what's the point of doing it at all? And what Hope just said about how you have to love yourself through it. When you're sad, feel sad. When you're angry, feel angry. Let yourself feel those things, and then decide how you're going to fix it, and self-love on yourself every single day, and work closer and closer to being back to that normal you. And it's going to be a process, like I was talking about too. It was a process of about 4 months. Here we are 4 months later. I'm finally feeling so much better. And here, Hope is feeling better, but it was a process. It was a huge, huge process. And you have to love on yourself throughout the whole
And I want to just put into
that's something that I didn't say that I need to say, but yes, you go, because I'm going to have to get my laptop charger. My laptop's about to die.
No, you're so fine. So also say hello to this guy. Could not say hello. So hi to Casper. He's doodling on my notes, but I also just wanted to say that healing is not linear. So please do not do this thing where you just like assume that like you're going to start doing all of this like self-love work. And then every single day you're going to be like, I'm the best. I love showing up for myself. No, you're still going to have days where you're like, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? Why can't I just do? The important thing is to, first of all, this exercise that I'm going to share with you guys is something that I hope that you'll do over and over again. And I will type it out and send it to people afterwards. But it's also just remembering to do that personal development and remembering to do that, taking that Sabbath time with your family and remembering to do that self-care and to pencil in time for yourself and to have a way to reset yourself to a neutral place when you are feeling especially hypercritical or hyper emotional, hyper anxious, whatever that is, because you're still going to get there. Sorry, it's been a year and I still have really freaking bad days. Last week was like a bad week. Yeah, they see you, Casper. They do. They see you. He's dancing for you guys. That's how excited he is. So, I mean, they're gonna, you gotta go. You gotta go. You're too distracting. I can't do this. I love you. I love you. Go play with your dada. Oh gosh. Okay, so we're gonna do an exercise. So it's like a 6-part exercise, but I think basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell it to you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys all. It's okay, Lovey. I love you. I'll be upstairs soon. I left for Nashville for 10 days, and now every time I leave his site, he's afraid I'm gonna leave for 10 days. I'm just downstairs finishing a Zoom. I promise. So this is a 6-part sort of exercise that I'm going to have you guys do. And so I'm going to walk you through it. And then what I would like to do is if you want to hop off and do it by yourself, like off camera, obviously some of the stuff that like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to cry, but like I cried for like 30 minutes when I did this. There's also no time limit. So however long you want to spend doing this process from start to finish, I don't want to like put a cap on it and put be like, oh, you have to finish in 15 minutes or, oh, you have to finish in 20 minutes. So we're just going to go over it. And then if you guys want to stay on, I can just try to like put on some music or something. We can sit on here together and kind of just hold space for anybody who wants to stay on, for the next like 12 minutes or so and just kind of feel that good energy that everyone that's on this Zoom is going through this process. But then obviously, like if you're watching the recording or if you choose to do this exercise, like, maybe your kids aren't completely asleep yet, like mine, then you can go ahead and obviously just save the steps and do it whenever you're ready. But that's kind of how we're going to end this. So I want you guys to so I already typed out some questions for you guys to be thinking about. I'm sure all of you have answers, right? Drop what number are we on? A 6 or a 7? I can't remember what number we're on. If you already know what burning the ships means to you after hearing from me and hearing from Murphy tonight, you already understand. You already have things in your head, in your mindset, beliefs, habits, patterns, like what you already kind of know back here what you need to let go of. What this exercise is going to do is show you the places where you are still carrying limiting beliefs. It's also going to help you pinpoint where you got them from, which is sometimes even more important than knowing what they are, because once you know where they came from, you realize they're not you. They're not you. You didn't give yourself limiting beliefs. Life, experiences, people, relationships, that gives you limiting beliefs, right? So then you can you can forgive the people who gave them to you, because most likely they gave them to you out of like love and concern. And if they didn't give them to you for love and concern, you can still try to forgive them, or at least decide that it's not yours to carry anymore. Kind of like I was talking about carrying that 2-ton backpack up the mountain. Like none of that crap belonged to me, but I was still trying to take it with me. And it was doing was holding me back. And then we're going to talk about what we can do to let it go. So let's just go over it really quickly. So This is the exercise. Pull out a piece of paper. Like I said, if you need to wait until you're somewhere where you can be really focused and distraction free, totally feel free to do that. But step number 1 is, if you could have, do, or be anything, what would that look like? And those of you who have been in this business for a while have probably done this before, but I want you to do it again. And I want you to get crystal freaking clear. Yes, I'm talking about like the house and the cars and the bank account, but I'm also talking about, who do you want to be? What are some characteristics, habits? How do you want to feel? What do you want to do with your time? How do you want to spend your days? So that's the first step. And as you're doing this, you're going to be doing step number 2, which is, what are those limiting, funky beliefs and thoughts that are coming up for you as you're writing down what you want? So if you could have, do, be anything, what would you want? It's a pretty easy question for most of us, right? If I had no obstacles, if I could just pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds and it could pop out exactly the way I wanted it, what would I be wanting? What happens right after we have that thought is all the thoughts about why we can't, and why that would never work for us, and why we could never be that person, right? So you're going to kind of do step 1 and 2 at the same time. What do you want? And then the second thing is, what are those limiting and funky thoughts and beliefs that are coming up for you? Okay, that's step 2. I will type this out. I will send it in our group chat. I will send it to Murphy so that everyone can have it. Okay. The third thing, once you have that list of limiting beliefs, I don't have enough time, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, I don't know enough people, I'm from a small town, I'm anything under the sun. No matter what I do, it's never good enough. We as women, I don't know if there's any men on the Zoom right now, but we as women, specifically, me and Jordana were just talking about this morning. We suffer from a case of the not enoughs like 24/7. Like, not enough to do this, not enough to do that, not enough to do this. So what are those things that are coming up for you? Okay. So the third step in this exercise is to really slow down and think about who or what has made you feel like that's true. Who or what taught you that those things were true, or made you feel like those things were true. And you're really going to sit in that feeling. And that's the part where, like, I cried for 30 minutes because I was writing down how I very, very much so suffer from this, like, no matter what I do, it's not going to be like good enough to like help other people be successful. And I was writing down, ooh, here it comes. I was writing down all of the people who have walked away from my team and from this business, even if they weren't on my team, that for one reason or another, I was holding on inside of me as if I didn't do something right. And that's why they left. I wasn't a good enough leader. I wasn't a good enough friend. I didn't show up enough. I didn't do enough Zooms. I was too tough love. I wasn't enough tough love. Right. And so I cried. You guys, I literally just like felt that hurt, felt that loneliness, felt that betrayal. Maybe for you, it's something that happened in your past. It's the environment you grew up in. Allow yourself to really feel those things. And as you're feeling those things, the fourth part of this is to genuinely, truly recognize that that is about them. All of those people and situations that made you feel like your limiting beliefs were true, that were confirmation for you of why you can't have what you want, that was about them. It was not about you. Okay? If somebody told you that this business was a scam, it's probably because they are too scared to do something like this. So they want to tell you that it's a scam. That's not about you. That's about them, right? Somebody tells you you're not being a good enough friend, but you've been texting them every day and they haven't responded. And then all of a sudden they come at you that you're not being a good friend, right? It's like, I know that wasn't about me. Like that was about them and their own insecurities and their own limiting beliefs and their own things that they're battling with. So what you're going to do is sort of sort what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you in all of this. Okay. So as you do this, it's very healing. And after you finish this fourth part is when you're going to take 5 deep breaths. You're going to breathe in for 5 seconds. And then you're going to breathe out for 10 seconds through the mouth. And you're going to do that 5 times. And that's going to kind of close like that section of this exercise. And then the 5th part is, what are the safety nets, the habits, thoughts, excuses, the ships that you have for backup if you need to sail back to Spain real quick because you don't want to deal with this ish anymore. What are you ready to let go of? What are you ready to let go of? And now when you finish step 5, you are both going to have the limiting funky thoughts and beliefs and the safety nets, and you are going to let it all go. You are going to breathe it out. You are going to feel it release. You're going to empty it from your backpack. If you need to rip it up and flush it, if you need to burn it safely, okay, don't burn anything down, start any fires. If you need to, put it in an envelope and shove it in a box somewhere and put it away, whatever you need to do with these things so that they are physically gone from your space in the coming season, I want you to do that. Okay. So then the very last thing that you're going to do once you've let go of the beliefs and you've let go of the safety nets and you've decided what you're going to do, this is number 6. If you already had what you wanted, which is the part that you did in step 1, if you already had what you wanted, you had the rank, you had the money, you had the car, you had the house, you had the friendships, you had the attitude, you had whatever you wanted, how would you feel? How would you show up? And how would you spend your time? And then those are the things that you are going to do in this coming season to conquer. Because it's conquer or die now, because you already burnt the ships. You already said, I'm not going back there and doing those things. So just like Murphy said, you're going to be willing to change. You're going to be willing to move some things around. You're going to be willing to ask for help. And this person that comes alive in step 6, if I was already Ambassador Diamond, shoo, girl, I would feel so freaking good all the time. I would be showing up so loud and so proud on a daily basis. I would only be spending my time with people who are at the same level of ambition and excitement as me. And I would be so intentional with my time because, I got money to spend and vacations to take and, things to go do with my kids. So I would be so intentional with my time. And so I have to start doing those things now, you guys, now. So that's the whole exercise. So I will type this out and send it around so that people can have it. If you're watching the recording of this Zoom and you don't have it, message me on Instagram or message Murphy or whatever, and we'll make sure we get it to you. And I'm just, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for hearing us out. It's been a while since I did a Zoom just on mindset, but I felt like it was so needed, not just for me and my heart and Murphy and her heart, but for everybody, because I know that this last season, and by season, I literally mean like a year and a freaking half, almost 2 years, has been so difficult for so many people for so many different reasons. And we really just have to be willing to not be looking left and not be looking right and not giving ourselves an out and not giving ourselves in 3 more months if it's still not working out. No, girl, plant your flag, burn the ships and plant the flag. You're here for a reason. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You are here for a purpose. And that purpose is to overcome all of these limitations and all of these things that are holding you back so that you can step into the person that you need to be, not just for your business, although the business will definitely benefit from it, but for your life, for your relationships, for your marriages, for your kids, for yourself, dude, for yourself, to be the person that deep down you were meant to be. And I'm really grateful that we got to do this Zoom with you guys tonight. So thank you again, Murphy, for tag teaming this with me. I love you all so much. I'll get this recording up as soon as I can. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their night. Bye, guys.